You know, it's sad that it's gotten to the point now where I just roll my eyes every time I see another garbage critique of the Timeless Children, spouting the same old nonsensical buzzwords and phrases about it being fanficky, about how it's all pointless because it doesn't change the Doctor's character, even though that is exactly the whole point, about how the Timeless Child should have been the Master, despite that totally going against what this story and arc is doing thematically. If you want a more detailed response to some of those arguments, you can check out the review I made at the time. But there is one particular buzzword that irks me more than any other regarding the Timeless Children, and that's the idea that the episode makes the Doctor into a quote-unquote chosen one. I see this being parroted again and again, and it bothers me the most because it shows the biggest mental deficit between the critic and the piece of work they are supposedly reviewing. Now, there are countless secondary sources I could use to make my point here, Universal's, Council of Geeks, Harbo Hooms, to name a few, but I'm going to quote the one that finally pushed me over the edge into making this video, a textbook example of poor discourse by Tharries.
Enter the finale, The Timeless Children, the episode that attempts to answer the many questions plaguing fans' minds throughout the series. How does it decide to do this, you may ask? By making the Doctor a chosen one.
Okay, you going to explain what you mean by that? Because a chosen one in storytelling is when someone is destined to be a hero and save the universe or do great things from birth because it was prophesized or foretold. It's a tiresome trope because it basically devalues anything the main character does by removing their agency and making them just a puppet of fate. If this trope were present in the Timeless Children, it might be a problem, but it isn't, and it stumps me why people keep suggesting that it is. Nothing whatsoever about the Doctor being the Timeless Child means she was destined to go out and be a hero or that any of her actions were foretold. And Tharries, just like many of the others who ring out this buzzword, doesn't offer any explanation as to how or why the Doctor is a chosen one. He rambles on for a few minutes about how the Doctor is a god, but that isn't the same thing. You can often tell when uncritical thinking people try to make an argument because they will throw around buzzwords interchangeably without ever specifying what they actually mean. As discourse goes, it's about on the same level as those Not My Doctor scumbags who blather on about wokeness and virtue signalling. Being able to back up your statements with actual substance is what separates good critics from your average armchair enthusiast ranting at their TV. The curious paradox with all of this is that non-critical thinking people are often the hardest to win a debate with, or even have a debate with, because they don't produce any argument to respond to. The title of this video is somewhat misleading. There is no way for me to prove Tharries is wrong, since he hasn't given me any material to work with. I don't know why he thinks the Doctor is a chosen one, so how can I offer a counter-argument? You may wonder why this bothers me so much. After all, it's just someone's opinion on a TV show, and at the end of the day, it's not like it has any real-world implications, right? Well, here's the thing with that. Critical thinking skills matter. Remember earlier how I made the comparison with Not My Doctor? That wasn't hyperbole. Bigotry takes advantage of poor critical thinking. And as I said, non-criticism is the hardest to counter. When someone drivels on about woke Doctor Who, I can't tell that person they are wrong because woke literally doesn't mean anything. This is how harmful and hateful agendas are able to spread so quickly. They tap into an abstract idea or sentiment rooted in paranoia or hatred while taking shortcuts to bypass critical thought mechanisms that might expose the bigotry for what it is. It's why I spend so much of my time on this channel trying to get people to think better. It's not disagreeing with someone about a TV show that makes me mad, it's the blatantly poor discourse. And I know the Doctor Who reviewing community is capable of this. There's a reason why I devoted a Twitter page to promoting reviewers of the show. And since creating that account, I've come across countless examples of enlightening and thought-provoking quality critique, so there is really no excuse. This here is lazy, uncritical, and I know we as a community can do much better. That's what makes it so frustrating. I'm Midnight, and I just lost my train of thought.